Hello there, welcome to the Football Bloc. My name is Rand, and today I'm going to give you my predictions for Matchday 3 of the 2022 World Cup Group Stage, the last round of Group Stage matches at this World Cup. If that sounds interesting, then let's hop right into it. So the group stage has almost come to its conclusion. We have the last round of matches here where it's going to decide who goes through and who goes home. So without further ado, let's get right into these predictions. So we start off here with Group A. Ecuador right now is tied with Netherlands on top of the group. They have, virtually the same record. Qatar is out, but Senegal still has a chance to advance right here. Now the match between Qatar versus Netherlands, I don't expect much from Qatar at this point. I think, they might get a goal, but I think Netherlands is going to win this pretty comfortably. I'm going to say, maybe 3-1 to the Netherlands. I think that Qatar might try to play for some dignity, but the way they've been playing at this tournament has been terrible. Versus the Netherlands, they've been looking really good. And we have Ecuador versus Senegal, and Ecuador has really surprised me. I think they have been playing some beautiful football, and I think that they are going to get the edge over Senegal here. I think that they're going to win. I'm going to say 2-0. I think the loss of Mane really hurts Senegal, and I think that in the end of the day, Ecuador just seemed like a much more complete team. They look strong at the back. They look really good up top as well. Enter Valencia is in great form. But Senegal have some issues here and there. They've had some issues with a lot of injuries to star players. And I think Ecuador is just going to edge it out. It's not going to be easy. It's not going to be simple. But Ecuador, at the end of the day, are going to qualify to the group stage alongside the Netherlands. With the Netherlands going through on top, virtue of more goals scored. Now let's go on to Group B. Now this one is really interesting. England, for the most part, have shored up their qualification to the round of 16, unless something absolutely crazy happens, which I don't think it will. Now second place is between Iran, USA, and Wales. Now Wales has an outside shot. They still have a shot, but it doesn't look likely, and it's mostly going to be between Iran and the US, who play each other. Now as for the Wales-England game, I don't really think Wales is really going to do much to England. But at the same time, England has been kind of disappointing this tournament. Yes, they did drop 6 goals on Iran, but I think that's more so Iran not being fully mentally there. England looked disappointing against the USA. They got outplayed by the USA. I think they're going to come away with a win, but I think it's going to be a very close 1-0 victory. As for the Iran-USA match, now this match means a lot to me as an American because we have to absolutely win this game. We cannot lose. We cannot tie. To make it to the next round, we have to win. And ultimately, I think that the US is a better team than Iran. But when it comes to the World Cup, anything's possible. And we just saw how Iran, will look so terrible against England, but then look pretty good against Wales. And you also have to acknowledge the political controversy between these two countries outside of soccer. There's a lot of, tension there. Not to mention the last time Iran played the USA at the World Cup in 1998, most people thought USA would win, but we lost 2-1. So in this match, I am going to predict the reverse score. I think Iran will score 1, but the USA will score 2. I think it's going to be a close game. It's going to be really feisty, really fun to watch. You can call me biased, but I think ultimately the US will get the win, and we join England going into the round of 16 with England topping the group and USA coming in second. All right, now let's go on to Group C, which surprisingly has been a really interesting group. Most people thought, including me, most people thought Argentina would wipe the floor with this group. But the fact that they lost 2-1 to Saudi Arabia in the opening match kind of threw a wrench into everything. Now, Poland surprised me by beating Saudi Arabia in the next match after that. And Argentina are still alive after their 2-0 win over Mexico. However, into these last matches, I think Poland got lucky against Saudi Arabia. I think they took their chance as well. But this Polish team, they fight hard, but still, I think there's a clear talent gap there. I think that they're going to lose 2-0 to Argentina. Argentina, like, they looked a little shaky against Mexico, not going to lie. But once Messi scored that goal, I think that they got their confidence back. I think Enzo Fernandez had a great game as well, and he's most likely going to start in this match. And then that good feeling is going to carry over into this Polish match, and Argentina is going to come away with a win there. However, now we come down to this match, which will ultimately decide who joins Argentina in the round of 16. Saudi Arabia versus Mexico. And I think the Saudi team, they played well against Argentina. And then I thought they also played well against Poland. But in the end of the day, Poland was just more clinical. There is a problem with Mexico, though. I don't think Mexico is, awful, but they just cannot score goals. Where are the goals going to come from? I mean, Chucky Lozano has been disappointing. Raul Jimenez is not the player that he once was. Vega is looked okay, but it's not enough. And I think in the end of the day, Saudi Arabia, they play a more attractive style of football, not to mention they have the home fans on their side. And I think it's going to be really, really close, but I think they're going to come away with a 1-0 victory. And that means Argentina top the group, Saudi Arabia go through. Now, I wouldn't be surprised to see this match end up in a draw and then Poland join Argentina in the round of 16. I think that's very possible, but I'm going to have to make a decision, and I think I'm siding with Saudi Arabia going through, especially with the home advantage, with all those Saudis, the thousands of Saudi fans across the border into Qatar. It almost seems like the home nation energy that goes into each of these home nations at every World Cup skipped Qatar and just went right to Saudi Arabia. So now let's go on to Group D, and pretty simple. I think France shored up this group. They're going to qualify with 3 wins out of 3, 9 points out of 9. I think that Tunisia, they defended well, but similar to Mexico, they just cannot score goals. And as good as their defense is, I don't think it's going to be able to hold back the form that France is in, especially Mbappe and Rabiot. I'm going to say pretty standard 2-0 win for Tunisia. Now this match, this is really interesting because I thought Denmark was going to go all the way to the semifinals. But ultimately, they've been very, very disappointing. I thought for the most part, they got outplayed by Tunisia, and then they also got outplayed by France. Now, again, another team, we see the same problem. They just cannot score goals. Australia, on the other hand, there's a clear talent gap here, but they fought hard against Tunisia. They won 1-0, and, maybe the confidence is low in this Danish team, and I'm going to predict a shock result here. I always like to have at least one bold prediction. I'm going to say Australia come away with a 1-0 victory over Denmark and eliminate Denmark. And that means Australia joins France going into the round of 16. Now let's go on to the next group. We have Japan versus Spain, Costa Rica versus Germany. Now, I think that Spain is by far the best team in this group, and I think they will defeat Japan. I don't think it's going to be an absolute blowout, but I'm going to say Japan lose by, I'm going to say 0-2. I feel like I'm giving that scoreline to a lot of these matches, and I think that Spain will easily top the group. Now it comes down to this match, Costa Rica versus Germany. I think that Germany is a better team than Costa Rica, but Germany have some very, very visible flaws. I am going to say that Germany come away with a win, but I am going to predict a very close win. I think it's going to be 2-1 to Germany. I think it's, Costa Rica is going to push Germany all the way to the end, but in the end of the day, Germany is going to come out on top, which means that Spain top the group and then Germany just squeak by in second place. All right, now let's go on to the next group. We have Morocco and Canada facing off, as well as Croatia versus Belgium. And the way that the table looks right now is how I think it's going to finish. Obviously, Canada is guaranteed to be eliminated, and Belgium look really bad. And I predicted this going into the tournament that they would flop. Now, they did come away with a win against Canada, but they got completely outplayed versus Morocco, and I think a similar story is going to happen here. I think Croatia, you know what? The form that Croatia was in against Canada, I'm going to say Croatia crushed Belgium. I'm going to say 3-0 to Croatia. And then this match, this doesn't really mean anything for Canada because they're already out, but I expect them to play for dignity. And then Morocco, I think Morocco started off a little slow. They looked solid, but a little slow in their first match, and they really grew into form. They grew into life against Belgium, and I think that good form is going to carry into this match. And I'm going to say, maybe I'm going to say, maybe 3-2 to Morocco, which means that Croatia topped the group, Morocco come in second based on goal difference, and Belgium is out. And Canada, they've already been guaranteed to be eliminated. In this particular match here, I think that's, Canada, they do play a very attractive attacking style. The game might be a little opened up, but in the end of the day, Morocco is going to come out on top, which makes the group end up like this. Next, let's go on to the second to last group. We have Cameroon versus Brazil. Now, Brazil has had some struggles going forward, especially since Neymar is injured, and he will be back supposedly for the round of 16. But on the other hand, Brazil has, in my opinion, had the best defense by far this tournament. And Cameroon, they looked decent going forward once Abubakar got subbed on against Serbia, but they looked kind of lost going forward against Switzerland. I don't think that they'll offer anything that could shatter that strong Brazilian defense. And the Cameroon's defense themselves is pretty lackluster. So I'm going to say, maybe a 2-0. Wrong team. I'm going to say a 2-0 Brazil victory. Maybe 3-0. I think Brazil is going to finish this group in style. Next, we have Serbia versus Switzerland, and this match is going to be one to watch out for, because we all remember what happened the last time these two teams played each other in the 2018 World Cup. Obviously, Xhaka scored, and then Shaqiri scored in the last minute, and that basically eliminated Serbia from the World Cup. And then they did the controversial celebration, Shaqiri and Xhaka being of Albanian descent, and Albania and Serbia do not have the best history between them. I made a whole video about that if you're interested. This match, though, it's moments like these that make you just love the excitement of the World Cup. And considering that Switzerland came away with a 2-1 victory last time, I'm actually going to predict the opposite. I think Serbia is going to come away with a 2-1 victory. Now, Serbia looked great going forward against Cameroon, but they lacked composure. They struggled against Brazil, but it's against Brazil. Switzerland also struggled against Brazil, and they were able to come out on top against Cameroon, but it was very close. I think this match, you can throw all of that out of the window, if I'm being perfectly honest, though, because we're going to see these two teams that at least some of the players hate each other, and this match could be decided by an individual moment of brilliance. And I think Serbia are going to have that extra motivation to kind of give a proverbial middle finger to Xhaka and Shaqiri. And in the end of the day, that's going to push them over the line. And Brazil easily topped the group. And then Serbia just slipped through, with Switzerland and Cameroon unfortunately going home. Now we have our last group, and we have Korea Republic versus Portugal. Now, I think Portugal have actually been very good throughout this tournament. Not perfect, but for the most part, they've been, better than most people have thought. And I think that as hard as Korea fought against Ghana, I don't think that they'll be able to overcome Portugal. I'm going to say it's going to be close, though. I'm going to say maybe 1-0 to Portugal, which means that they top the group. Then we have Ghana versus Uruguay, which is yet another super exciting game. Obviously, the whole thing with, Suarez punching the ball off the line against Ghana in 2010, stopping them from being the first African country to make it to the quarterfinals. These two teams absolutely hate each other. I think that there won't be a fairy tale ending to this story, though. I think Uruguay, they've kind of, just sludged their way through this tournament so far. They haven't looked great, but they haven't been terrible. Meanwhile, as free-spirited and as electric as Ghana can be at times, they still have some very visible defensive weaknesses that a very talented team like Uruguay will be able to exploit. I do think emotions are going to be high, and it will be close, so I'm going to say maybe 2-1 to Uruguay, which means that Uruguay just squeaked through to the knockout stage alongside with Portugal. So that's how I think the groups are going to end up. I'm going to say Netherlands, Ecuador go through from Group A, Group B, England and USA. Then Argentina and Saudi Arabia from Group C. Group D will be France and Australia. Group E, Spain and Germany. Group F, Croatia and Morocco. Group G, Brazil, Serbia. And then Group H, Portugal and Uruguay. Let me know what you guys think of my predictions. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Do you think that there is a fairy tale ending for Ghana? Or do you think that Serbia will not be able to get their revenge? Do you think that there is a shock? For example, do you think that, do you agree with me that Australia is going to end up shocking Denmark or something like that? Make sure to type all your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Share this video with a friend. Anyway, guys, my name is Brandon. This has been the Football Bloc. Hope you guys have a nice rest of your night.